Everybody.
Yes.
Wow. Good. I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good.
Well, I just, first of all, I want to thank the crew, doing an amazing job. And I think about you every morning when I get up. My ribs are still feeling it, but I'll tell you, I count myself very, very fortunate. And I've had a lot of support, a lot of prayers, and I just wanted to really make it known that you guys have done an incredible job. Everybody's expecting me to tell a story, but really, I don't remember any of this till like the fourth day out of since the incident. And so the doctors are saying that I'm almost fully recovered, and it's basically almost a miracle that I'm at the stage that I'm at right now. So that's all I have to say.
That's good enough.
Bill Bart, Channel 13. Can you put a mic on you? We can hear everything you say now.
Okay. You repeat everything like it.
What we'll do, Ray, is we'll move out of here to behind the ambulance, so that you can meet each one individually and
I'd
shake
love
their
to,
hand.
yes.
Oh, really?
Ray, I want to take this moment to thank the rescuers that provided care to him on that day. At this time, I'd like to introduce them to him individually. So you had Battalion Chief John Flanagan.
Thank you.
Connie Quintus was there, I can't make it today, he just took a fire chief's job in Poland and he's busy. But he wants to do his best and he's very, very glad things worked out.
Thanks.
And then Captain Mike Scott.
I'm one of the reasons why you're retired.
I'm always a big fan.
I'm glad to see that you had a good recovery.
Yeah.
And then Paramedic Lieutenant Chris Moretto.
Thank you very much.
Paramedic Lieutenant Eric Poland.
Thank you.
Firefighter Dana Cannon.
Thank you very much.
And firefighter Will Davies. I'm not here.
Thank you very, very, very much. All I can say is that I'm more than just here. I'm just really grateful that I am where I am. I'm alive, and not only alive, but really doing well. And I heard that you guys arrived like immediately, and you know, time is of an essence, and how I got to where I am today is just a miracle. And I do appreciate your experience and your expertise, and I'd be interested later to hear what you had to do to me, because I don't recall any of this till like 4 days.
You don't feel it?
Oh, I do feel it. I do feel it. And I can act as a dummy if you want to try it out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, once is enough.
Yes, she was the first respondent, obviously, there, and I'm sure it was a shock to her. Also, and how she was able to stay cool and calm through the situation. And I also want to thank Carol. Also, so she boarded me once I got back from the hospital. She's my sister and took good care of me. So I really, and she is really involved with a lot of prayers that must have reached out towards me and put me where I am today. So I really appreciate that, Carol. And everybody else, my daughter, my son, Jessica, Jeremy, thank you for everything. And Richard, my brother, thank you for the support. They tell me they were there. I was in a coma for 2 days. I don't recall any of this. Apparently I was communicating with them, but I don't recall any of this, probably because I was on life support. And it's hard to imagine that I was at that state, but that's what people tell me. And I can only be grateful to the Central Maine Medical Center for their expertise and their hot care, and everyone who's here. And a friend of mine, Ed Mushlet, who's also here. Old snowmobile buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We got here in less than 3 minutes. I don't know what the time actually was, but it was fast.
Usually everyone says it seems longer. Right?
No.
3 minutes seems like 3 hours.
Well, it did and it didn't, but
Every time she hears a siren, she thinks now of
I just,
when they were coming to the house. And that kind of brings back some memories of that. And when I hear a siren myself, I'm thinking, who knows what you guys are up against? You don't know what you're gonna be meeting. I was in the service, I was in the Army as an X-ray technician. You never know what's gonna be coming up ahead. But all I can say is I'm glad I wasn't living in Mechanic Falls or any place that was distant, because according to what I heard, my heart stopped for 10 minutes. So actually some people asked, did you see anything on the other side? And I could make up one hell of a story. And no one could say, no, that didn't happen. I know there is another side, and it's great.
yeah, glad you're still on this side.
And I really do appreciate you guys taking the time to present yourself. I'm known as a person with 9 lives. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but I've had instances where I should not be here. Survived open water for 3.5 hours in the middle of the winter from a snowmobile incident. I was on the rescue side, and I was rescued and survived. Head-on collision to a tractor-trailer truck. I was a passenger. Survived that. I was a construction worker on a roof, and the roof caved in, new construction, it all caved in. I pushed myself above the rafters, and came down. I could have been crushed to death there. So he goes on and on and on.
That's 5.
Yeah, you still got 4 to go.
With a bow and arrow in the field, and the guy says, "Look at this," and I look up and it hits me right here. All right. Another time I was on a tractor and I was doing something with a fuel tank, and ignited and blew right up. I was flying backwards. You guys came over and put the fire.
Wow.
Makes me afraid to hang out with you.
Yeah, so it's getting there.
Apparently that guy got a little too close to you too. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I also want to thank Brad. He was hiding in the background. My great son-in-law, really love having you as a son-in-law and as a friend and as a support. Yeah. So, wow.
And thanks for having us here today.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
The opportunity to meet you after.
Yeah.
We don't get that very often. Usually we just go on about our business and
Right.
never hear
You
the
know,
other end of it.
and the thing is, when I was finally rescued on Umbagog Lake. It was that was January 16th, 1991. And I was on that lake for almost 4 hours on an ice fall, waiting to be rescued. That was in 1991, I only was able to, just recently, like 2 months ago, spoke to the man who rescued me. And it was one other man that was tied to him. In case one would go through, the other would pull the other guy out at 1 o'clock in the morning. 16 below zero. And I said, I gave my name, Umbagog Lake, do you remember me? He was a year older than me. He goes, yeah, I remember you. I said, we gotta meet. I said, we gotta meet. I don't even know what you look like. I was full of ice. And he says, it's no big deal. He says, I do this all the time. He says, I said, do you remember my incident? He goes, oh yeah, I do remember. I had one other guy and we were going through the ice to get to me as well. And it was a miracle that happened, how everything lined up. And I got pulled in. And I had serious hypothermia and frostbite. They came through. They never found my son. What can I say? So when you were, who arrived, which person?
Let's say we were changing, had shift change that morning, and,
Yeah.
and the rescue 3, which is normally stationed here, which would have been first respond, was on another call. So we end up rolling in with as many people as if that rescue was in service, because everybody jumped on engine 3 and 315 to go. So, and then when rescue 5 showed up, that added 2 more people. So one of the things that we talk about is, more hands, the better for us. And a normal ambulance only has like two firefighters on it, whereas we rolled in with 5.
So you came in with a full-size truck. Came in with a truck, not an ambulance.
Right, we came in with that engine.
Right.
And we had a crew that was supposed to be changing over onto Rescue 3, but the other crew from the previous shift was still out on call. So we rolled in with 6 people, and then we had 2 more coming in with our Rescue 5. So we end up with all kinds of people at the scene, which is a good thing, because we were able to get a majority of the work done and really quick.
Yeah,
And I think that definitely helps.
yeah.
But so I mean, when we rolled in, we did what we needed to do to assess you, and then basically started CPR at that point.
Wow.
And then the paramedics come in and they do their thing and give him meds and.
Yeah. So when you were administering the CPR, was it sort of like I've seen it before, I've never given it myself. I think you're certified, aren't you, Richard?
Mhm.
CPR?
Yep.
And you just press as hard as you can to get the heart pumping again, right?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can talk more about it. I'm just the basic, so I'm good at pumping and giving breaths, but that's about it. So, I mean, yeah, you're just kind of basically looking to get roughly 2 inches of depth in the chest, and then let off to make sure that the heart has a chance to refill with blood. And
Is that right?
So when you guys arrived, there was no pulse, no breathing, right? And then you did CPR, and then you had to use a defibrillator eventually.
I think once or twice.
Yeah.
When we started on these, we gave him the meds to try to get the heart started again, along with the CPR, breathing for him, to circulate the oxygen, all that just to try to get the heart with the compressions and everything. And then eventually that all started to work, kicked in, the heart started beating on its own again. We continued breathing for you, and then eventually I think you did start developing some agonal respirations with that too. So, like you was talking about, we had a lot of people there. That was good. It gave me a chance to break away and explain to her what was going on, everything that we were doing, which I hope, I think it helped relieve some of her
It did. It
stress
did
at
for
that
sure.
time. So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when you say defibrillator, are you talking to paddles?
yeah.
So I have one now. I have my paddle built in.
2 little ones.
And they said, did it go off yet? And I go, no, not yet. They go, you know it.
you'll know it.
Yeah. So it's good for 10 years.
Does that send them a signal when it goes off as well, so like it gets recorded somewhere?
Well, they have a wireless, like a phone at your bedside that monitors you every day and sort of they can keep a track, like a sort of a history of how your heart is doing or whatever. And that's about it, all I know about it. But it's not painful, it's there. I'm not gonna make any bodybuilding magazine. Those days are long gone. But I'm glad it's there, and there were no infections or anything, so it's all good. It's all good.
What are your restrictions?
Good question. I talked to my cardiologist, and he'd like me to do some physical therapy and monitor me while I'm starting my exercise. I have exercise stuff at home, but he said maybe a good idea to just have a trained eye watch you for the first few times, and you find out if you get your heart rate up and you're not having any issues, then you'd probably be safe to do it on your own, type of thing. I mean, I used to do a lot of serious cycling in my early days, lots of long rides with my brother, my son, and kind of slacked off. And I tell you, I probably wore myself down without adding enough sleep. was one of my problems, also a neuro thing with my heart and my neuro-electrical part, which they knew was a problem 10 years ago, but they said, you exercise so much and you've not had any chest problems, they said, you probably don't have a problem. But I've been, in the last year and a half, I've been like really cutting back on my sleep. I have sleep apnea and I've never practiced it enough the way I should. And so I never really got the rest that I really needed. And I think that caught up with me, finally. And lack of exercise. So a combination of those things, obviously it's going to be different now. Go to church more too.
Probably the fact you have done a bunch of exercise and made you better off when this did happen, gave you a better chance.
Yeah, I think so.
Well deserved if you would.
And they said that the heart was in good condition, didn't have clogged arteries, have very low cholesterol. I'd be a great heart transplant person.
We were just looking, you got shot 6 times.
Oh, I did.
That's what we
Yeah,
were.
that's what we
That's
thought,
what we
yeah,
remember.
6.
Now, is that
higher than usual, or
That's a lot.
that's a lot, huh? Is that like, is that about getting to the point where it's almost you're giving up at that point? Like,
It's all based on time and all that sort of stuff. As long as we can keep trucking, we work for a lot longer period of time, we would if you were just completely flatlined. So.
oh, there was some activity from
Correct.
the
We keep
shocking,
going.
oh, I see,
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
see.
we keep going.
Yeah, when we heard that, I was like, wow.
So what does that mean? It actually beats a couple times but doesn't get into a rhythm? That you would,
Not necessarily, it's more or less, it's just kind of quivering.
Okay.
So the electrical activity's kind of go over the spot, it's trying to squeeze, but it's not, and then
I
we stop
see.
it, it kind of stops it and then resets it.
I see.
Try to get that rhythm
Right.
going back.
Huh.
Huh.
Thank you for not giving up.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you were gone 5 times,
We don't like it.
Yeah, we don't like to stop, so.
it's amazing that it actually happened to me. I've usually had very good health all my life, and something like this happening. And he even said it, because you're the last person to think I've had heart problems. I've had Bill Phillips, who's the head of heart, saying, you're never gonna have a problem with your heart.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
Beyond one of you guys. So amazing. I'm glad I'm able to actually shake your hands and see real people. I'm trying not to make a habit of this.
You can stop by anytime. Anytime you want, anytime.
And thank you for putting this on.
Good.
You want to check out some of our equipment?
Now that
While
you
you're
actually
here,
see it,
can remember it.
Yeah.
give it to her.
All the way through? Way longer than I did.
About 6 inning, Go around the right side is, just steps up into the back.
For the spectrum?
Just picking up the You want to go around the side, it's easier to step up in there. So around the right. Oh, no.
The pads, they come out from the one side of your chest. We don't really use paddles anymore, especially in the field.
So what is the thing that you use? That you shocked them with?
The monitor itself does it.
Okay, and the pads.
You can charge it and deliver the shock right here, and when it's attached, you can see what the actual rhythm is. And I was explaining to him, I mean, he's even more fortunate in the sense that he was in a rhythm that's shockable because we don't shock every single rhythm, like asystole and things like that. We aren't allowed
So that was
to-
another.
We aren't allowed to defibrillate, so.
Huh.
And you did that right here?
In this house.
In this house they had, yeah, upstairs.
So when you see that irregular heart rate, is that like a 300 beats per minute, some weird number that tells you that it's quivering, or?
No, it's the electrical activity that you see on the monitor.
Okay.
And it's, it doesn't really equate to a number because
There is no beat. Yeah.
like you said, your heart's just basically quivering in your chest. And then of course there's all kinds of other stuff that you got. Tubes. We intubated you on the way to the hospital.
What's that mean?
The tube that was in your
We
airway.
did that on the way.
Yeah. And,
We did that on the road?
Stuff is in here. Yeah, we did that going down
That's
the road. to
tricky.
Central Maine.
So you were able to transport in this vehicle or the other ambulance? Yeah.
Actually, it wasn't this one. It was the other ambulance. There's another one up on Center Street, and if this one's on a call, they come down here and handle these calls.
I remember, yeah, because I asked if I should use that seatbelt or not.
So,
So you
Yeah.
said you were breathing for him?
yep,
That-
we use the, just like you see on TV, you know, the
How,
bag valve mask, they're
I
called.
remember seeing that on his face when he was right downstairs.
Yeah. And then, so you take this out. You hook that into the tube that's in your airway. We hook this up to oxygen as well.
So you have a tube put like down his throat or, you know, I saw this starting to do something.
Like,
Yeah.
Maybe not the same one.
Yeah.
like that.
Yep.
And then it goes down your airway. They inflate the cuff so that it doesn't move, and then we can ventilate you on the way to the hospital.
But something different was put down his throat on
The first time we used a different device, but we weren't really satisfied with the outcome of how that was working, so we decided to try something a little more advanced and a little different, and it ended up working out better for us and you. So.
No, they put me in the cold
Yeah.
for the, I guess, to slow down the brain waves.
Therapeutic hypothermia.
Right.
So your second time being hypothermic.
Yeah.
He doesn't remember this one either.
No.
No.
No. But it's just amazing seeing all this stuff here and what I was laying in.
Yeah. We carry a lot of stuff. The medications that we gave you are stored in boxes over here. We carry bags that have other little tools, IV stuff to, start those intravenous lines or medicine.
When you're going through this whole thing and there's other people similar to me, what's usually the outcome? It's
I mean, everybody's viability is different. It's kind of hard to give a real generalized synopsis of that. But everything we do follows an algorithm for different heart rhythms or different situations. So some are good, some are bad.
Do you have a timeline of when the call came in and when he got his sinus rhythm, heart?
I honestly don't know. Chris did the documentation actually on the run.
I'd like to find that out.
Yeah, I mean, he might. I'm sure he could. Or I mean, I know Brad can definitely get you that information. So.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Brad just did inform me that you got to sign for it, but he's going to give you this run report. That explains everything.
Well, they just asked about time of dispatch to resuscitate, to when he had a rhythm back.
Says we were notified at 6:48.
Yep. Shift change next time.
And somewhere around here. This is probably when Ross was achieved.
Yeah, it's like trying to read Latin though.
Yes.
Vitals.
Probably look at the vitals, maybe that one.
GCR.
I was gonna take your money.
So the dispatch was at 6:48, 0718 is when I document the first blood pressure, pulse, respiratory effort.
That's
That's
Just under
more than half an hour.
I do know we were far into it.
Mm.
Last set of protocols, it was 20 minutes. You work a code in the field for 20 minutes. If you do not establish ROSC, which stands for Return of Spontaneous Circulation, then you consider to start terminating the code. But with the new protocols that came out, if it's like a shockable rhythm, which you were in a shockable rhythm, we're to continue, and that continues up to like an hour now.
Okay.
So we
right
would
here,
have
Chris.
continued for
7:15, we shocked you for the 6th time and you went into a sinus rhythm.
yeah.
Right there.
7:15.
So right around that 7:15,
It's almost 20 minutes.
That's the shock from the monitor.
Cool. It's
That's-
recorded
that's
even on a
the-
graph.
That's the fibrillation. That's what the electrical activity shows of your heart basically just jiggling and not accomplishing anything. That's the shock.
They dispatch
And then that's an
6:48.
organized rhythm.
Wow.
But yeah, right.
Interesting.
How long?
And that's where a lot
how
of
long
us
there
have
was
fought
time
for that
between
change.
Yeah,
that.
that's
It
what I
probably
was
took you
wondering.
a
Came
couple
out with that
minutes
other
to call or
protocol,
whatever
and
you
they were
need
like
to
20
meet.
minutes.
So
I'm like,
yeah. So it's
I've
20
brought
plus
people
minutes.
back after 20 minutes, so why cut it off at the 20-minute mark? I think
Right.
we're not giving, and I think enough of us complained out there that they've actually updated the protocol.
So yeah, you should definitely sign.
If it
for
was
this
like
gives you
flat
all the
line from the
medications that we're
beginning,
giving to you.
then
all
those
those
chances are
rhythms.
slim to none. But the fact that he was continuously in a shockable rhythm told us, kept telling us, we got a chance here. We still got a chance. We're going to keep giving it everything we got. And all of a sudden, that one shot.
So there is no-
boom,
so there
there's
is-
a rhythm. It's like, hey, does he have a pulse with it?
So there is no number that you guys would stop trying then, it sounds like.
No, technically now with the new one, it's with the rhythm that he was in, it's up to like an hour now.
Okay.
After that, then they really start considering,
Yeah.
what is it just the meds that's keeping the start going right now? That's definitely worse versus his own brain trying to keep that.
Yeah, right. Wow.
So,
But you were administering oxygen and air pretty soon when you first got there, yeah.
Continuously. Yep.
as soon as we got
So that okay.
That's
So
why
even
it's
though
better now
so
than
even
it
though
was
his
back
heart
then.
wasn't beating, he was still getting oxygen.
Yeah,
So
right.
Eric here was, I think you were the first one.
No, Joe and I. There's a fellow person that he's not employed with us anymore by his own doing that was also there. Two actually, to be technically. Tom Brown left, like they said, to take a different job as the chief of the Auburn Fire Department, and Joe Moran decided that this wasn't his thing, and he stepped down. So there were actually two others.
So that was, and then I was on the ambulance that day, but we were coming out of the station over by Shaw's because the rescue out of here was on a call already. So I was delayed in getting there. So when I got there, you were in great hands with all these people and Eric here running the show. So like I said, that gave me the opportunity. I helped out with a little bit at first, and then I broke away.
I remember you talking to me.
But when you were like trapped in the
I
room and
was,
couldn't
yeah.
get past us. And I'm like, hey guys, we need to get her at least away and give me a chance.
Yeah,
talk
that's
to
got to be
her.
pretty traumatizing to watch.
But you'd
It
be
is.
smart. We try, and I gave you that opportunity. I'm like, if you would like to go back in there and watch. Years ago, it was like absolutely not. Family, get out, don't watch anything. But over the years, the studies in the hospitals, because they even do it in the hospital now. Would you like to stay in the room? It's comforting and it helps the family, even if the ultimate end is the person passes away. It gives them that little bit of comfort to be there and know,
Some
you know what,
closure.
I watched you guys do absolutely everything
right.
you could.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps that recovery or getting over it, if you ever get over it. But so, and that the big thing is somebody's got to break away and go talk to the family because they're in another room going, what is going on here?
Right.
And I think that's the benefit of just instead of a two-man ambulance crew, the whole department shows up and it gives us a chance to break away. But then it's like, if you want to go back in there, we will explain everything that we're doing while you're standing there, if that's what you want.
I must have said no
No,
because.
you elected to go with, there was other members there, I don't.
Yeah, Jeremy.
I showed up and
Jeremy
I
was
think
there and our
a
neighbor.
couple of the neighbors.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well,
So at what point does United Ambulance come out on a call versus the fire department?
Years ago, United used to cover this, it was just the fire department first responded, and we didn't transport. We had a rescue, the older rescue. It had transport capabilities in case United, all their ambulances were tied up. But it was a terrible unit to be in. It was a heavy rescue. And it was a terrible ride. There was no windows. We had to wear a headset to even talk to the guy up front that was driving or whatever. And just over the years, since we're all trained at the paramedic level, and it's like, you know what? It would be better, we think, for the residents of Auburn and everything, to have that continuity of care. We come in, we're not just seeing you for a few minutes and then passing it on to another person, who then's passing it on to another person. We're there quicker, we start care, and we just follow through with it all the way to the hospital. There's none of that transition. There's no chance of missed information that didn't get passed on. So ultimately, the continuity of care is the big.
And our trucks are dedicated to Auburn.
Right.
Right, sure.
United's is dedicated to all.
Right.
In Auburn, transfers, hospital stuff. Ours are dedicated to emergencies in Auburn.
it's
Yeah.
interesting, you know, you learn it, like I'm thinking, this comes right straight from the hospital, right? No. Fire trucks were over there. And it's educational to me, to be honest with you, that you guys carry on that kind of responsibility.
And our fire trucks carry all the same equipment that our ambulances do, and the paramedics. They just don't have a stretcher. They have these same monitors, drug boxes, stuff to do airways.
I always wondered, because it'd be a fire truck, my lady across the street.
Yep.
Anyway, she constantly would have call 911. Lombard, Jackie Lombard, I don't know if that rings a bell, but anyways,
The fire truck would always show up
would always show up
first.
with a rescue
Yeah.
also.
Yep.
But now I know. It's like you guys have everything here.
Yeah.
You know, and the engine doesn't go on every single call we do. When you dial 911, they do what's emergency medical dispatching, EMD it.
The frustrating
And
minute
it-
you spend
yeah.
on the phone with them,
Yeah, you
answering
answer
1,000 questions.
Right.
But what that gets down to, it determines whether it's
Yeah.
they call it an Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta response. An Alpha is like just an ambulance, no lights and siren, or it may just be a fire truck to go help somebody get back into bed because they fell out of bed and they're not hurt, and get transported. To like a Charlie, Delta, or Echo is lights and siren, get there as fast as you can. Yours would have been an Echo. If it came in as a cardiac arrest, it would have been an Echo call, which is everybody you can get there as fast as you possibly can.
Yeah, you got a lot of people too because of shift change. Normally it would have been probably six people. On if it happened right now, us, the engine, and the chief would go to the same thing all over again. So. But when everybody's coming to work or hasn't left work yet, it just kind of jumps on.
So there is times that it's not going to get the big fire truck, too, depending on how bad the call is. But like you said, and United is still our mutual aid. So if both these ambulances are tied up on calls, and a third call comes in, then United will respond for us. Just like there's times that we go to Lewiston because United's out of trucks. So we kind of do mutual aid between the two cities.
I think he needs to. You want to come get his mic?
Definitely help each other out.
You want to come get his mic?
Good. As fast as you can get there.
You take it?
Thank you, sir.
I guess he's not going to let you take the mic home with you?
You're done.
We'd love to have it.
If you could.
Sure.
You can sing karaoke?
Yeah. He sings. He does. He sings and plays.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll be doing a song.
I'm gonna
Come
write
back
a
and
song.
play it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Willie Nelson would. Yeah.
All your names in it. Are all of your names in here?
I believe so, but let me check. In case I forgot it.
Desperado.
That printout doesn't look anything like when you're doing it on a computer.
No.
Oh, I don't even know if I've ever printed one. Wait.
Mike, Don, Will, Tom, Dana, me, Joe. Yep. This is right here, on that page right there. The names, what level they are.
Yep.
So,
Awesome.
Make you feel so bad
I guess
about
there
paying
is a
taxes.
form though.
Yeah, really, huh?
Mad about to sign.
Yeah.
Just because it's confidential. It's yours, so the only information on it is, it's not like you're gonna steal your own identity,
Right.
it's you.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for everything in your tour.
Easier to go
Okay.
up
Yeah.
that, the way
All right.
those steps are
Okay.
versus tripping or falling. Not that we would mind.
Right.
Hey, buddy. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad I did too.